conservation voters of Pennsylvania, as well as the staff, along with dozens of passionate volunteers from across the Commonwealth. They've all traveled here for the second straight year to meet with legislators, make their voices heard, and we're thrilled to have so many people with us here today. I'd also like to thank our partner organizations that were able to join us: Audubon Mid-Atlantic, Clean Air Council, Green Building United, Keystone Energy Efficiency Alliance, the Nature Conservancy, the PA Sustainable Business Network, Penn Environment, Vote Solar, and so many more. Please give them a round of applause. So you'll be hearing shortly from our legislative champions, and I want to give special thanks to them for all of their tireless work to champion critical environmental legislation in the General Assembly. All of the people here remain steadfast in a core belief: protecting our environment is not just a policy issue. It's about safeguarding our health, our economy, and the future we want to leave our children. When we came here last fall, Pennsylvanians were already experiencing pain for years of short-sighted policy decisions. Rising energy demand was already straining our grid, brought on by our continued reliance on outdated, expensive fossil fuels that put us all at risk. As a result, more and more families were struggling to pay their electric bills. Well, it's been 8 months since our first day of advocacy here in Harrisburg, and these challenges persist and continue to grow worse without decisive action from state government. Conservation voters of Pennsylvania and Penn Future released in January our energy affordability agenda to promote 10 policies that will help mitigate cost increases for Pennsylvania, better regulate the data center industry, diversify our energy portfolio, and allow us to achieve greater reliability. This is a common sense agenda that we have already seen embraced by lawmakers in both parties and in both chambers. You'll be hearing more about this critical agenda from other speakers, and we're talking about it with dozens of legislators today. We are also here to talk today to talk about policies that will promote clean water. I want to highlight a bipartisan, bicameral initiative that you will hear more about from Representative Paycat, House Bill 2302. This important legislation will protect drinking water for over 3 million Pennsylvanians who have private wells by establishing a governing board and licensing framework for water well drillers. We are one of only 2 states in the entire country that do not have this kind of common sense regulation. We strongly support House Bill 2302 and its companion bill in the Senate Bill 1249. I said it here 8 months ago, and want to raise it again today. Now is the time for Pennsylvania to lead and show that we will not abandon our responsibility to protect our clean air, our pure water, and the right to a healthy environment. These bills and the others you will hear more about move Pennsylvania forward by providing real solutions, real opportunities, and real accountability. Other states and countries are acting boldly to protect our environment, avoid the negative impacts of unchecked development, and promote jobs that will define the next 100 years. Pennsylvania must do the same. We're here in numbers, we're here together, and we're here to push for a cleaner, more just future. We thank our legislative champions, and thanks to all the advocates for helping turn our vision into action. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Representative Paycat.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm State Representative Paul Takak, and I represent the 82nd House District in Center County. I should mention, too, that prior to coming to the legislature, I also served in local government, and one of the proudest things I did was I served on the Spring Creek Watershed Commission. It was something that I truly believed in, not only as an avid fly fisherman myself, but you know, the Pennsylvania Constitution guarantees us clean air and water, and this is a responsibility that we all have. Thank you for being here today. As you heard, over 3 million Pennsylvanians rely on private water wells for their drinking water, and that's that's almost exclusively in rural communities. However, Pennsylvania is one of just 3 states that lacks statewide licensing standards, and one of only 2 that does not enforce water well siting and construction standards. Why is that important? It's because Pennsylvania has a very complex subsurface geology that makes proper well siting critical not only for health and for safety, but to protect groundwater. Upholding proper standards are critical to not only protect property owners and landowners and their neighbors as well, but to protect our precious groundwater, which replenishes nearby streams and waterways. My legislation would establish accountability without adding new regulatory requirements or permitting processes. It provides a flexible framework to let water, geothermal, and geotechnical drillers seek the relevant training they need, and includes a grandfather period to provide for continuity. I want to emphasize this is a bipartisan bill. It is co-prime sponsored by my friend and colleague on the Republican side, Chairman Dan Mall, and it's backed by a broad range of stakeholders, everybody from agriculture and building, trades, engineering, drilling industry, as well as state agencies, consumer health, and environmental groups like the Conservation Voters of Pennsylvania. I'm happy to report that our bill, House Bill 2302, passed unanimously out of the House Professional Licensure Committee last week. And we're scheduled to vote on it tomorrow in second consideration. We hope that by the end of this week, we will have passed it on to the Pennsylvania House, and we will send it over to the Senate. So I urge you, please reach out to your representatives, reach out to your senators, ask them to support and vote yes on this critical legislation, House Bill 2302. Thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to introduce my friend and colleague, Representative Ruston.
Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing on this advocacy day here at the Capitol? It's great to see everyone out here, so give yourself a round of applause. I am State Representative Jackie Rusnock, and I represent the 126th District, which is found in Berks County. So we're here today to talk about the fact that we have warehouses popping up all across the state, and these facilities actually present us with a very unique opportunity to leverage all of that rooftop space that they provide us. I have House Bill 1260, also known as Solar for Warehouses, and that would require all new warehouses and distribution centers to be constructed solar ready. That means designing the rooftops to be able to sustain the weight of the solar panels. We would also provide a tax credit for existing warehouses to make any retrofits necessary to become solar ready as well. It's no secret that PJM Electric Grid is facing a supply shortage in the coming years, threatening both the reliability and the affordability of electric service for residents and businesses. It's also no secret that Pennsylvania's electric generation portfolio is overly reliant on natural gas. By adding solar and increasing energy diversity, we will reduce our dependence on any single fuel, supplier, or technology, and we decrease the likelihood of disruptions and price swings. Warehouse rooftops are massive. They are unobstructed spaces with lots of rooms for these panels. It just makes sense that we utilize all of this available space and take control of our energy consumption. Doing this offers significant ecological advantages as well. It helps to reduce our carbon footprint by generating electricity by using sunlight instead of burning fossil fuels. It minimizes our environmental degradation, which I'll talk about in a minute, and paves the way for a more sustainable future. One of the challenges we face and we hear about is the land bill is about being proactive rather than reactive, and we're recognizing the opportunity that is literally right over our heads and making sure that we don't miss out on it. I will continue to promote and fight for this bill. I am happy to say that it has passed out of the House and then moved on to the Senate. And I am so happy to have Senator Zaval here today because I'm going to pass it to him and I'm going to let you speak a little bit more on that topic. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Representative Rusnak. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Are we ready to fight for clean water? Yeah! Are we ready to fight for clean energy? Yeah! Are we ready to fight climate change? Yeah! Are we ready to fight for our future? Yeah! Great, cool, because that's what we're going to do. Good morning. Again, my name is Nikhil Saval. It is my honor to represent the people and communities of Pennsylvania's 1st Senatorial District. I am so proud to be standing here with my colleagues from the House who are such incredible leaders, as you've heard, but especially with incredible advocates for Pennsylvania's land, for Pennsylvania's people, for Pennsylvanians. And I am grateful to Penn Future and the conservation voters of Pennsylvania for bringing all of us here together so that the health and safety of our climate are centered here in the heart of our state's government. All of us deserve for the air we breathe and the water we use to be clean, for our communities to be safe and resilient, and for the lands that we depend on to be healthy. Pennsylvania is just one of 3 states across the country to have the right to a healthy environment enshrined in our Constitution for all our residents. But that right cannot exist on paper alone. It must be upheld by our legislature in every single thing that we do. And these efforts in Pennsylvania's General Assembly have never been more urgent. Under the current federal administration, the Environmental Protection Agency has all but abandoned its responsibilities to protect people's health. Instead, the policies that have protected our air and water, that have protected us, have been rolled back in a sweeping capitulation to the wealthy fossil fuel corporations whose decades of lies and deceptions have fueled the climate crisis. Under the current administration, the EPA no longer includes health-related information in its economic analyses, proving that those in power value the lives of our children and families and the health of our communities as less important than their profits. In the district I represent in Philadelphia, my constituents breathe some of the most polluted air in the country, and our air quality is getting worse. In a report from the American Lung Association released less than 2 weeks ago, researchers found that 1.2 million children in Pennsylvania are breathing dangerous levels of air pollution that increase their risks for asthma, heart attack, stroke, lung cancer, and cognitive impairment over the course of their lives. Global carbon emissions from fossil fuels reached a record high in 2025. The previous record was set in 2024. The record before that in 2023. And the record before that, yes, you guessed it, in 2022. With soaring utility costs, searing damages to our infrastructure, and harm to our communities that worsen with each passing year, it is vital that we act with the urgency that this moment demands. The good news is that we already have all the technology we need to reverse course. Investments in renewable energy sources like solar allow us to cut energy costs for households and businesses, create new family-sustaining jobs, and curtail the deadly emissions that are harming our neighbors and loved ones, all while securing our Commonwealth's preeminence as an energy state. The legislation that Representative Rusnak spoke about and that I am introducing in the Senate with Senator Carolyn Permita positions our built environment, in particular our warehouses and distribution centers, not the most beloved pieces, I would say, of our landscape, but let's change that, as part of a broad set of solutions to accomplish these goals. As the Keystone State, Our roadways serve as vital corridors that connect some of the nation's largest population centers. And Pennsylvania has more than 16,000 warehouses that store and distribute goods and supplies to our neighbors near and far. If we were to harness the energy generating capacity of the more than 500 million square feet of suitable rooftop space that sits atop these warehouses, we could power nearly 1 million households a year on solar energy alone. To get to this future, we must treat solar readiness as we would treat any other safety measure in a new building. A building code to ensure the safety and well-being of the workers, their families, and the communities of which they're a part. So the legislation that we have would do the following. It would provide guidance, as we've heard, so that all new warehouses and distribution centers are constructed to be solar ready. And next, it would provide support for existing facilities via tax credits to make the retrofits they need to be solar ready too. Pennsylvania has always been, we know this, an energy state. But whether we retain this title will depend, as it always has, on our ability to support our workers and communities and uphold the rights of our people. We have the technology we need right now to arrest climate change, advance toward a green and prosperous economy, and make life healthier, safer, and more affordable for working people and communities throughout not just our Commonwealth, but our country and our world. What we need is the political will. This is the political will. We are by showing that the work that moves our Commonwealth to a clean energy future is work that benefits all of us in the face of unprecedented attacks on our climate and our safety. Pennsylvania can hold the line. I will hold the line with you. We will advance towards that future. Thank you so much. With that, it is my honor to bring up the indefatigable Executive Director of the Conservation Voters of Pennsylvania, Molly Parsons.
Good morning, folks. Good morning, everyone. My name is Molly Parsons. I'm the Executive Director of Conservation Voters of Pennsylvania. And Senator Smalls and tough act to follow, so I'm going to close us out pretty quickly. I just want to thank our incredible legislative champions for standing with us today. And most importantly, I want to thank the over 100 advocates who are standing behind me, who traveled from across the state to make their voices heard. We have folks here from Erie, from Pittsburgh, from Philly, and everywhere in between. This work simply put does not happen without their presence here. We're here today because the work being done in these halls here in Harrisburg has never been more urgent. As Senator Smalls said, with the Trump administration actively rolling back federal environmental protections and pushing policies that are driving up energy costs for every Pennsylvanian, lawmakers here in Harrisburg are both our last line of defense and our best opportunity to make progress. Pennsylvania cannot wait for Washington to act. We have to lead. The package of bills that we're highlighting today that you heard from Rep. Rosdoff and Rep. Tapak about are common sense Pennsylvania First agenda. It's an agenda that recognizes that protecting our environment and protecting your wallets go hand in hand. When we talk about House Bill 1556 at our meetings today, we're talking about advanced clean manufacturing. We're talking about creating high-quality, family-sustaining union jobs right here in the Commonwealth. We're making sure that Pennsylvania stays competitive in the global race for clean energy. And when we advocate for solar-ready warehouses, we're fighting for children's right to breathe clean air by reducing our reliance on dirty fossil fuels to power our businesses. And when we demand transparency for data centers and reform for the Public Utility Commission, we're fighting to lower costs for working families. We're tired of being treated like an ATM for free utilities. The message today is simple. A healthy environment and a more affordable future go hand in hand. By passing the bills we're lobbying on today, we can lower utility bills, ensure access to cleaner air and water, and build a clean energy future that leaves no community behind. For too long here in Harrisburg, this building has been a source of gridlock rather than progress. Profits of big tech and billionaire oil and gas CEOs have been put over the interests of folks like you. Yet, as you can see by the turnout today, people in every corner of Pennsylvania know that the status quo is not acceptable anymore. We've seen how bipartisan majorities can come together to pass common sense legislation that lowers costs by boosting locally produced clean energy, just like the landmark Solar for Schools program we passed a few years ago. We now need to take that model and replicate it by taking real action this legislative session to tackle the urgent concerns of people across Pennsylvania. We need to pass the suite of bills that we're talking about today and the representatives and senators might be just enumerated. We're joined here by some of the environmental champions who are powering our movement forward. We're here to stand with them and to turbocharge their efforts as we fight to build a Pennsylvania where every family can thrive. Let's get to work and